Something extraordinary unfolded under the humid lights of Hong Kong's Victoria Park. A young woman who had been rewriting the history of Philippine tennis found herself standing alone at the baseline, eyes fixed on the ground, the crowd holding its breath. Moments earlier, she had been 3 games away from victory. Now she could barely lift her racket. The scoreline on the board didn't tell the story. It couldn't capture the disbelief, the exhaustion, or the silence that followed what may have been the toughest loss of Alexandra Eala's professional career for more than 2 hours. The match had been a showcase of power, precision, and pure heart. But when the final point landed just beyond the baseline, it wasn't the shot itself that stunned the tennis world, it was the unraveling that came before it. How does a player dominate one set, control the next, and then suddenly lose 5 consecutive games in the deciding set? How does confidence evaporate in real time when victory feels certain? That's what fans everywhere wanted to understand. To make sense of what happened in Hong Kong, we need to step back to where the Alexandra Eala story really began. Because this wasn't just another tournament. It was the closing chapter of a season that had already changed her life. The rise of a prodigy. Alexandra Eala was born in Quezon City, Philippines, in 2005, just a child with a racket that looked far too big for her hands. Her talent revealed itself early, but what separated her from other prodigies wasn't raw power or athleticism. It was intent. She played every point with a purpose beyond her age, combining relentless aggression with a calm, almost mathematical focus. By her mid-teens, Eala was training under the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, learning not just how to win but how to fight the Nadal way. Every drill, every match, every setback became fuel. And soon, she wasn't just another talented junior, she was a symbol. A young Filipina standing on courts dominated by European and American players. Refusing to blink. In 2022, she won the US Open Girls Singles title, becoming the first player from the Philippines ever to claim a junior Grand Slam. It was a moment that went viral across social media. The smile, the tears, the Philippine flag draped across her shoulders. Suddenly, Eala wasn't just a promising athlete. She was a national figure. But as every prodigy learns, turning professional means starting over. The lights get brighter, the pressure heavier, and the margins smaller. In 2023 and 2024, Alex began carving her space on the WTA Tour. She wasn't a headline name yet, but the players knew who she was. That smooth lefty forehand. That ability to turn defense into offense in a blink. And that signature fighting spirit that never allowed a match to feel truly finished. Then came 2005, the season that would redefine her career. She broke into the top 100, a first for any Filipino. She upset Grand Slam champions in Miami, making a jaw-dropping semifinal run that left commentators comparing her mental toughness to that of established stars. She climbed to world number 51, and she did it while maintaining the grounded, humble composure that made fans around the world root for her. Heading into the Asian Swing in October, Alex wasn't just another competitor, she was the story. Every match felt like a test of how high she could climb. But Hong Kong, the final stop of her season, would test something else entirely: how much she could endure. Transition to the match. Set started as a classic showdown. A 20-year-old rising star versus Victoria Mbeko, Canada's 3rd seed, powerful, athletic, fearless. The contrast was perfect. Alex, the calculated tactician, versus Mbeko, the explosive shot maker. Fans packed the Victoria Park Center court expecting fireworks. They got something much more emotional. But before we dive into the unraveling of that 3rd set, the collapse that nobody saw coming, let's look at how Alex built the lead in the first place. Because everything that went right in the opening hour of this match would later make the fall even harder to watch. From the very first rally, it felt like this was going to be one of those nights where everything clicked for Alex Eala. Her movement was crisp. Her ball striking was clean. Every shot landed deep, pinning Victoria Mbeko behind the baseline. Even the crowd, usually neutral in Hong Kong, began to respond to the rhythm of her play. The opening games were a masterclass in controlled aggression. Alex raced to a 3-0 lead in just 12 minutes, mixing heavy topspin forehands with perfectly timed drop shots. Mbako, one of the tour's strongest servers, looked rattled as her first serves began to miss and her body language tightened. A T for -2. Mbako fought back with a flurry of aces, trying to turn the tide. But Alex absorbed the pressure like a veteran. She chased down every ball, forcing the Canadian into longer rallies that drained her confidence point by point. When Mbako sent a backhand wide on set point, Alex let out a quiet fist pump. No celebration. No scream, just the composure of someone who believed she was supposed to be here. The scoreboard read 6-3. The first set was hers. And the numbers told the story: fewer unforced errors, higher first serve percentage, more winners. This was not luck. It was control, but tennis is cruel that way. Momentum, once earned, never stays long. And as the second set began, subtle signs of change started to appear. The shift begins in sport. There's a look athletes get right before everything changes. It isn't panic, it's calculation. That's what flashed across Mbako's face as she prepared to serve the opening game of set 2. Her coach had whispered something between sets. A small adjustment, more kick on the serve, deeper returns, attack Alex's second serve. And suddenly, the Canadian's rhythm changed completely. Her first serve percentage jumped from 58 to almost 87%, a staggering leap that flipped the dynamic. Now it was Alex who had to defend. Every return game became a war. She was still playing well, but Mbako was playing perfect. A T3-2. One rally captured the shift perfectly. 18 shots of relentless baseline trading ended with Alex approaching the net only for Mbako to rip a passing shot down the line, screaming as it clipped the tape and stayed in. The crowd erupted. The Canadian pumped her fist. The atmosphere flipped in an instant. From there, Alex's rhythm wavered. She pushed a volley wide at 2-4, giving away the crucial break. For the first time all evening, frustration crossed her face. Her feet slowed half a step. Her serve lost a few kilometers per hour. Small details, but in elite tennis, that's enough. Mbako held serve twice more, sealing the second set 6-3. One set all. The energy inside Victoria Park was electric. Every fan knew this was now a coin flip. And yet, if you were watching closely, you could feel that something inside Alex was beginning to tighten. The rhythm of the match had changed, and with it, the entire psychology. But what came next would be far more dramatic than anyone expected. Transition to the deciding set. Final set began like a storm. Alex struck first, breaking early as Mbako's serve suddenly faltered again. 3 double faults in a single game. Momentum swung back in Alex's favor, and once more she looked unstoppable. She built a 4-1 lead, just 3 games from victory. The finish line was visible. Fans back home were celebrating online. The commentators were already speculating about a quarterfinal showdown with Anna Kinskaya, but what followed in the next 20 minutes would turn that celebration into silence. It wasn't just a loss of form. It was a collapse that stunned everyone watching. It began so quietly you could almost miss it. One missed first serve. One rushed forehand that sailed long. Then a deep breath too deep. For a moment, Alexandra Eala stood at the baseline, rolling the ball in her hand, as if trying to slow down time. She was up 4-1 in the final set. The match had felt hers to lose, and yet something in her body language shifted. Her shoulders dropped slightly. Her steps between points slowed. It wasn't exhaustion exactly, it was the mind trying to protect itself from the weight of what it was about to achieve. Across the net, Victoria Mbako saw it. Champions sense hesitation like blood in the water. She clenched her fist, muttered to herself, and stepped closer to the baseline. The next return ripped through the court like a gunshot, an inside-out forehand winner that left Alex frozen. And that was the spark. From that point forward, Mbako played with nothing to lose. She attacked second serves, came to the net, and started dictating every rally. The Canadian crowd section in the stands rose to their feet as her shots grew heavier, her confidence louder. Meanwhile, Alex's rhythm disappeared. Her serve, so steady all match, suddenly deserted her. Double fault. Break point. Break.4-to.it was just one game, but you could feel the energy in the stadium flip like a switch. Commentators who had been praising Alex's composure began whispering words like tightness and pressure. Her coach could only watch. Helpless, from the stands, no on-court coaching allowed. Then came the seventh game. Long rallies, deuce after deuce. Alex had 2 game points to stop the bleeding. Both vanished in seconds. First a netted forehand, then a floating backhand that Mbako crushed down the line. Break again.